Number 1. Choking on your own food. Who designed the human throat? Seriously, fire them, or time travel back and ask early evolution what it was thinking. Here's the problem. Your trachea, that's your air pipe, and your esophagus, your food pipe, basically share a driveway. And they are terrible neighbors. In most animals, breathing and eating are totally separate highways, but not in humans. Nope. In us, food and air both go through the pharynx, a throat roundabout that demands perfect timing, or you'll end up inhaling spaghetti. The only thing stopping you from breathing in your lunch is a flimsy little flap called the epiglottis. One mistake, laugh while chewing, gasp while swallowing, talk while downing boba, and you're suddenly the star of your own Heimlich drama. We like to think we're the pinnacle of evolution, but this design flaw proves we're basically meat computers running glitchy firmware. Number 2. The useless appendix. Here's a fun fact: you have a ticking time bomb in your abdomen that serves virtually no purpose until it decides to betray you. The appendix is a tiny finger-shaped pouch just hanging out at the junction of your small and large intestines. Once upon a prehistoric salad bar, it might have helped digest cellulose-heavy plants. Now, it just sits there, watching, waiting, plotting your next ER visit. And when it gets inflamed, usually for reasons doctors still shrug at it, can rupture, spread infection, and basically try to kill you. It's like evolution left behind a rusty, abandoned tool in your gut and said, meh, let's just hope they don't notice. Your appendix is that coworker who does nothing all year, then sets the office on fire during their exit interview. Number 3. Back pain, nature's gift to the upright. You walk on 2 legs, yay for freedom, boo for spinal agony. Standing upright gave us major perks: free hands to hold iPhones, elevated eye lines to watch sunsets, the ability to run marathons or walk dramatically away from explosions. But the price: a spine shaped like a sad question mark. Our backs were designed for moving on all fours. Then, evolution stood us up like toddlers playing Jenga with their vertebrae. So now, 80% of humans will experience back pain at some point, because we're basically trying to stack pancakes into a Jenga tower, and then balance a watermelon your head on top. Add in modern life sitting for 9 hours a day in a chair that's slowly eating your posture, and it's no wonder your lumbar region feels like it just fought a medieval battle. Congrats, evolution. You gave us Shakespeare and chronic sciatica. Number 4. Goosebumps of Glory. Imagine your ancestors huddled in the dark hair, bristling like a porcupine with a caffeine addiction, ready to scare off a saber-toothed tiger with their glorious body fluff. Yes, goosebumps were nature's little puff up and look bigger defense mechanism, like hitting the zoom button on your own skin. But fast forward to you, standing in your bathroom, wrapped in a towel, shivering because the tile floor is basically Antarctica, and your skin suddenly decides to play porcupine defense against air, or that emotionally manipulative scene in Up. Here's the deal: goosebumps happen when tiny muscles at the base of your hair follicles contract. In our furry ancestors, this fluffed up their hair to trap warmth or make them look like a beast not to mess with. Unfortunately, evolution didn't send the memo that we now wear Patagonia fleeces and binge-watch true crime instead of fighting hyenas. So now, instead of intimidation, you just look like a slightly cold-plucked chicken trying not to cry at Pixar. Basically, your skin is still trying to play ancient warrior while you're just trying to decide if you want oat milk or almond milk. Number 5. Wisdom teeth evolution's dental prank. Your mouth is a cul-de-sac, and evolution, it invited 32 teeth to a party designed for maybe 28 tops. Enter wisdom teeth, the molars that show up late, uninvited, and ready to cause chaos. Back in caveman brunch time, these extra chompers were useful. Humans were eating raw roots, tough meat, and basically chewing on sticks, so more teeth. Great idea. But now we cook, we blend. We have smoothies that cost $14. There's no need for extra molars to grind bark anymore. Yet wisdom teeth still arrive in your late teens or early 20s like a vengeful ex. There's no space, so they push, they crowd, they turn sideways, they flirt with your nerves, they scream, surprise surgery. In modern times, most people either get them yanked or spend their lives wondering if that dull jaw pain is a problem. Spoiler, it usually is. They're the appendix of your face, vestigial, dramatic, and determined to make a scene right before finals week or your destination wedding. Number 6. Panic sweats. You're in an interview, or maybe a first date. Everything's going fine until your armpits decide to break into a Niagara-level performance. Why? Because your body has confused nervous about making eye contact with sprinting from a jaguar. This, folks, is the glory of emotional sweating. Evolution wired us with sweat glands that activate not only from heat or exercise, but from stress, especially in places that reek like your armpits and groin. These glands produce apocrine sweat, which smells worse because it mixes with bacteria. It's basically your body's way of saying, hey predators, I'm vulnerable and scared. Want a sniff? You might think this helps with social bonding or intimidation, but in reality, it just ruins your shirt and makes you question every deodorant purchase you've ever made. So now when you're giving a presentation or trying to look cool, your body decides to release an anxiety cologne called Fear by Biology. Thanks evolution. Really helpful. Number 7. Male nipples. Let's address the peculiarly decorative elephant in the room, male nipples. Functional? No. Offensive? No. Confusing? Always. Every fetus starts on the same template, essentially unisex default. Nipples get added early before the sex-determining hormones show up with blueprints for testes or ovaries. By the time the Y chromosome yells surprise, it's a boy. The nipples are already installed, and they stay forever, doing absolutely nothing, like decorative hood scoops on a Prius. They don't produce milk, they don't sense danger, they don't even look that impressive unless you're Chris Hemsworth. But they're there, quiet, pink, useless. Biologically speaking, they're harmless, but evolution didn't bother to delete them. So now we all have to live in a world where this question still gets asked in 9th grade biology classes and awkward podcasts. It's evolution's equivalent of installing a USB port that connects to absolutely nothing. Number 8. The blind spot in your eye. You know that part of your eye that literally doesn't see? Yeah, it exists, and it's not a bug, it's a feature, a tragically dumb one. Your optic nerve has to exit the eye to carry visual info to your brain, but instead of elegantly sneaking out the side, it bulldozes straight through the retina. That creates a blind spot, a patch where your eye can't detect light at all. Most of the time, your brain just fills in the missing info like Photoshop's clone tool, but it still means every human walks around with a donut hole in their vision that evolution basically duct taped over. Octopuses don't have this problem. Their optic nerve enters from the back like a well-designed HDMI cable, but humans? Nope. Ours just pops out the front like a toddler busting through drywall. This is why no one should use intelligent design and human eyeball in the same sentence unless it ends with, should have been outsourced to Team Cephalopod. Number 9. Sleep paralysis, the nightmare feature. Ah yes, sleep, the magical recharge button, until your brain decides to spice things up by paralyzing your entire body while you're awake and throwing in a shadow demon for good measure. Sleep paralysis is what happens when your body enters REM sleep, the dream phase, and switches off your muscles so you don't act out your dreams, which evolutionarily is pretty smart. But sometimes your brain wakes up before your body does, and it forgets to turn the lights back on for your muscles, so you lie there, fully conscious, unable to move, heart racing, and because your brain is a drama queen with a taste for horror fiction, you start hallucinating. Cue shadow people wait on your chest or voices whispering in the dark like it's the haunting of apartment 207. This ancient glitch may have had some adaptive purpose like preventing night terrors from turning into actual terrors, but now it just causes Reddit threads and therapy sessions. Evolution tried to give us a safety lock for dreaming and accidentally invented a real-life horror short. Number 10. Menstrual cramps. Thanks for nothing. Here's a delightful monthly reminder that your body might have wanted to be pregnant but isn't. Cue cramps, mood swings, lower back pain, and a bloodletting ritual that would make vampires weep. Humans have one of the most aggressive menstrual cycles in the animal kingdom. Why? Because our endometrial lining, the stuff your uterus sheds, is thicker and more energy intensive than almost any other mammal. That means when it breaks down, it doesn't just tiptoe away, it erupts. The likely reason evolution decided that humans needed a hyper-selective reproductive system. Basically, your uterus throws a monthly tantrum to make sure only the healthiest embryos get VIP access. Which sounds noble until you're curled on the bathroom floor googling, can I legally sue my own body? Some species just reabsorb their lining. Humans. Nah, we turn it into a multi-day bloodbath, with side quests like nausea, acne, and cravings for an entire cheesecake. It's like nature said, you might be the most intelligent species, but you'll still suffer for having a uterus. Deal with it. Number 11. The sneeze reflex that destroys your back. Sneezing is supposed to be a defense mechanism. Dust goes in lungs, explode it out, problem solved. But somewhere along the evolutionary path, sneezes became weapons grade. You don't just sneeze, you convulse. Your diaphragm spasms, your eyes slam shut, your neck snaps forward like a crash test dummy, and your spine does a whip crack that chiropractors dream about. All that just to eject a speck of pollen. Some people throw their backs out from sneezing. Others accidentally launch themselves into walls or pull a muscle mid a chew. You might be fighting for your life in the cereal aisle of Target because your immune system is a drama queen with zero chill, the worst part. Holding in a sneeze might be even more dangerous. You could rupture an eardrum or burst a blood vessel trying to be polite during a meeting, so you're stuck between sounding like a dying walrus or risking internal combustion. This is what happens when evolution upgrades your sneeze from gentle reminder to biological cannon blast. Number 12. Hiccups, the amphibian leftovers. You ever get hiccups so stubborn they feel like a curse from a vengeful frog deity? Turns out, you're not far off. Hiccups are basically evolutionary leftovers from our days as water-breathing blobs. No joke, the reflex originates from early aquatic life forms that had to switch between gill and lung breathing, so hiccuping. That was part of the transition system. Here's the modern mechanism: your diaphragm spasms, your vocal cords slam shut, and hike, your body thinks it's solving a problem. But there is no problem. You're just a mammal trying to eat pasta too fast or drink soda while laughing, and suddenly your chest becomes a metronome of pain. It serves zero purpose now. None. You can't use hiccups to hunt. You can't weaponize them. You can't even stop them reliably. Remedies range from scare it out to drink water upside down while summoning Poseidon. Your body is literally glitching out like an old video game trying to run an outdated amphibian program. It's like your DNA accidentally pressed Ctrl+Z on 400 million years of progress. Thanks, evolution. Ribbit. Number 13. The full reflex that makes you flail like a wacky inflatable tube man. You know that feeling when you're falling asleep, and suddenly your whole body jerks like you just got tased by a ghost? That's called a hypnic jerk, and it's evolution doing its best jump scare impression. Hypnic jerks are involuntary muscle twitches that happen right as you're about to doze off. They're caused by your brain misinterpreting muscle relaxation as "oops, we're dying," so it hits the emergency twitch button. The theory is that way back when we slept in trees like overachieving koalas, these jerks helped us not fall out and die. Now you're just lying in bed scrolling memes, and suddenly your leg thinks you're plummeting off Mount Kilimanjaro. Bonus humiliation if you're in public, say on a plane or in a lecture hall, and you do the full body jump. You've just become the entertainment for row 12. It's like evolution gave your body a motion sensor but forgot to update the software, so now every bedtime is Russian roulette with your own limbs. Number 14. The gag reflex that backfires. The gag reflex, originally designed to save your life, now just mostly used to embarrass you while brushing your molars. It kicks in when something touches the back of your throat, triggering a vomit prevention response. Which makes sense if you're about to swallow poison a fishbone or a poorly chewed Lego, your body's gotta act fast. But here's where it becomes hilariously unhelpful. It's overly sensitive, activates at the worst times, and absolutely refuses to learn nuance. Try taking a throat swab gag, try putting in a dental impression gag, try eating a banana the wrong way gag, try brushing your tongue like a responsible adult. You're now the star of your own personal dry heave symphony. It's like having a smoke alarm that goes off every time you think about toast. Except it's in your throat, and it thinks everything is toast. This reflex was supposed to be a hero. Now it's just a drama queen with a hair trigger. Number 15. Human childbirth evolution's final boss. Let's talk about the evolutionary equivalent of trying to shove a watermelon through a mailbox slot: human childbirth. Most mammals pop out their young with the elegance of a sneeze. Humans. We built the Sistine Chapel, wrote Shakespeare, mapped the genome, and still scream through a 27-hour labor while praying to gods we don't even believe in. Why? Because two evolutionary upgrades decided to have a toxic relationship: bigger brains, narrower hips for walking upright. So we ended up with babies whose heads are just barely able to squeeze through the birth canal, like solving a Rubik's Cube made of pain and screaming. And instead of being born ready to run around like deer or gazelles, human babies pop out basically unfinished. Just squishy, helpless potatoes that can't even hold their heads up. We're the only species that regularly needs entire medical teams, forceps, epidurals, C-sections, and hours of panting to reproduce. Evolution looked at all our upgrades and said, "Here, have a final level. Hope you like pain and sleep deprivation." And yet, somehow, we keep doing it. Probably because the babies come out with cheeks that could broker world peace. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.